Talk about it. Welcome to the Zoning Board of Appeals for Hyde Park, the June 22nd meeting. Let us begin this with our Pledge of Allegiance, please. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. I have one comment to make before we begin our formal agenda. We have just received, in the last week, the Town of Hyde Park Natural Resources Inventory for 2022, and it's a very instructive report. And the reason I bring it up is that it has a number of things in it that do relate to this board and its actions. And I wanted to just briefly read a half of a paragraph here. And this is talking about climate change and potential issues. Hyde Park can reduce the potential damage caused by increased storm runoff by preserving natural areas, implementing green infrastructure strategies, softening of the Hudson River shoreline and installing rain gardens, and limited impervious surfaces. Conservation of floodplains, stream corridors, wetlands, and forests will help reduce stormwater runoff and risk from flooding, as well as provide opportunities. This is important because we are, in many of our presentations, asked to look at stream corridors, the distances, the control of the coverage of properties, and they are impacting climate, and climate change is here coming. And so I think as a board and as a public, we need to be aware of that, and I want to make that announcement. I think I have distributed this one on climate change to everybody, but everybody is welcome, and we will have in the future some more maps which outline watersheds and the other things that we need to start considering as we look at the issues before the planning board. Okay, thank you for that. With that, I will entertain a motion to approve the minutes of the last board meeting. Is there a motion?
Motion.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay. All right, let's move on then to our first item, 22-19, Rite Aid Pharmacy. Hi. It's good to see you again.
Yes, you too.
Now, I know that
Totally
you-
recognize all of you now.
Well, we've aged since we last saw you.
So have I.
We have received a new presentation. I think if all of you, have a copy of that. Would you like to walk us through that?
Sure.
Before, I need to have a motion to open a public hearing for Rite Aid. Is there a motion?
Motion to open the public
Second.
hearing.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Oh, opposed? You're now formal.
Okay, as you know, over the last year, we've been kind of doing a little give and take and trying to bring this to where it works for everyone. The freestanding monument signs, obviously we have two we're looking for as opposed to one. And the sign height is correct. To the top of the sign.
Mm-hmm.
We wanted to use both of the existing monuments that they have with the little roof structure, so we're looking to be able to do that. We have to go from 8 foot to 11 foot on the overall height of it. So I believe, if I'm correct, Serena, we're looking for 3 variances on that. It would be leaving the height at the 11 foot, having 2 as opposed to 1, and also due to the layout, the logo being 19.5 inches.
Okay, so there are 2 in place currently,
Yes,
and you like to continue those 2,
yes,
and the height actually will be the same as it is today.
yes.
Really, the difference that the public and we would see would be the size of the font on the signs.
The size of I'm not sure what the one currently is, but it's not that much difference, about 2 inches bigger than
Right.
one of those framed portraits or
Right.
certificates on the wall there.
Okay, good. That's clear. Thank you.
Okay, so that's the monument sign. The directional signs, at your last meeting, suggested that one of them probably was not necessary. We were looking to replace them at the size that they were, so now we only have 2 directional signs. And instead of the 2 square foot, they are 4 square foot, which is what they currently are, but 2 square foot's what you call for.
Okay.
And,
Now, are you on that, you had 3, I'm looking at your picture, E5, is that the one that you're eliminating?
that's eliminated,
Okay,
that's the
so
one
there's one
suggested.
at the exit on 9G, and there's one on the exit on Crum Elbow,
Correct.
okay?
And then the wall-mounted signs, we were oversized on those. We did remove the wall sign completely from 9G side.
On the 9G side, you're going to take that down?
Yes, that'll be gone.
Okay,
And so the one over the front door is 45.8 square feet, so we're looking for additional square footage, I believe. The symbol dimensions, the planning board had approved that they were willing to go to 16 1/4, and our conversations, we started at 40-something, went to 30-something, now we're at 24 inches max
okay,
on the logo. The letter height in the Rite Aid is at the 16 3/4 that what the planning board allowed. And I believe those are the 2. So that's the one sign over
Okay.
the door.
good, okay. Let
And
me
I'm
ask-
sorry, I missed on directional signs. Is the green there, Serena? That's the ones over the drive-through, right?
Correct.
Yeah, if you look at the picture of that, we're removing the whole upper copy and just changing those 3 smaller signs as you drive through with different copies.
So on the 9G, the large sign with the arrow on pharmacy, that will all be taken off, is that correct?
That's, yeah, the drive-through, yes.
Okay.
Nancy's referring to
Now,
the,
you have one on the drive-through
yeah.
when you come up to the drive.
Right.
Okay, is there a change in that? Is that size or?
Copied pretty much, I believe. It's just the copy on the 3 small ones at the bottom. The one above it is going away.
Those do not need variances. They're just included because it adds to the overall square footage.
Okay.
So that's why it's on here, but they don't need any
Yeah.
changes or
Okay,
variances or
okay,
anything.
so that's clear there. Okay, excellent. Questions?
Not much better. Much better.
Yeah.
Very easy to understand.
And I would like to state that I forwarded this to the Dutchess County Department of Planning and Development on June 16th. So they should respond about a week before our next meeting.
Okay, so we will then defer this until the July meeting. I think you've answered our questions very well, and you have made changes, I think, based on what our comments and other comments. And so we're very appreciative of that. I think we have to go through and we have to get the approval of,
Dutchess County Department of Planning and Development.
okay, and I don't anticipate, that will be available for the next month, so we can,
And hopefully, when I come next month, the resolution will be sitting on your desk
the
and
resolution will be sitting on the
and put me
desk.
number 1 again. That's
Yeah.
good.
We will.
May I, just before we
Yes.
continue, because I do see a lot of compliance, I think that is, it bodes well for the application that you made a lot of modifications in favor of taking into consideration everything that was said here. The one question I do have though for you, keeping in mind that you've made a lot of modifications already, but the 10 inches on the wall-mounted sign where the planning board granted the 16.25 and you came down to 24, is that the minimum that Rite Aid's willing to go?
That we can. For the distance, it's computed by,
Okay.
from the road and speed limit and all of that. And that was actually where we came to the 30 inches. That's what if you go to any sign company and use the formula that's used, 30 inches is what we had come in for. And that didn't seem to be happy. So we're actually under what it should be on there. I mean, 10 inches your
Yeah.
max for the town. That's not a variance, 10 inches.
Okay.
Okay, thank you.
You're
Other
welcome.
questions? Any? Okay. Then I will entertain a motion to continue this hearing, this public hearing to 7:27. Is there a motion?
Motion.
Motion.
Second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you very much.
See you next month.
Well done.
Hopefully the last time.
Okay. Okay. 2203Z, Hyde Park Quick Stop. Do we get music tonight? No? That's okay. Okay. Well, welcome back. Like a motion to open the public hearing for Hyde Park Quick Stop. Is there a motion?
Motion.
Second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye, opposed? Okay. Welcome, sir.
Good evening, folks. I'm Jay Deasing with Mauri Architects. I'm here tonight to discuss the Hyde Park Quick Stop project with you. It's 4912 Albany Post Road. It's in the neighborhood business district at the north end of town. The project was last before the zoning board at your April 27th meeting. And at the time, the planning board, or you were not able to act because the planning board hadn't finished their seeker process yet, which they just did at their meeting last week. So they adopted a negative declaration for the project. So just to summarize our application before the board, we're requesting 3 area variances. First is relief of lot coverage to allow 81.1% coverage where 70 is permitted. Second variance is for a front yard setback of 5'7" where 20 feet is required. And if you recall, that's for the underground storage tanks that are towards the front of the property. So they're completely below ground and aren't going to be visible. The canopy and the building itself all meet the setback requirements. And then the third variance is to permit building scale of 9,071 square feet, where 7,500 is permitted. And again, the building and the parking areas all would comply with that, but the gas canopy itself has been determined to be a building, so it contributes to that scale, which puts us a little bit over. So there really hasn't been a lot of significant site changes since the project was last before your board. We've been working with the planning board on our drainage and our engineering details. The only change I will point out is in the front of the property in that main island at Route 9, we've added a decorative stone wall and some more landscaping, so it's a nice aesthetic feature for the property. And other than that, yeah, the planning board wrapped up their seeker review, so we're hopeful to move forward with your board tonight.
Good.
So that's a brief summary, and certainly we'll look forward to any questions.
How'd you make out with the state about?
State has not responded yet. We're still waiting for their review, but it's into them. So they're going to comment on that. I think you questioned the entrances last time. Yeah. So we haven't gotten comments back yet.
Okay. Other questions, concerns? Yes.
You said that you have the underground gas tanks there in the part of the property near Route 9?
Yes.
Okay, and is that a different spot than they were initially, or is that where it's been for a long time?
No, they're actually on the south side of the property.
I see.
And they're within the wetland adjacent area. So part of our project is to move those out of that to be a little bit more sensitive to the environmental
So they're
issues.
currently closer to the wetlands?
That's correct.
And you're moving them more to the west side of the property?
That's correct. Outside of the wetland boundary, and
Okay.
we think a better spot.
Okay.
And do you need to check to make sure that there's no underground pipes that are going through there and all that sort of thing? Like, I don't know if there's water pipes going to Staatsburg, for example.
Those would be within the DOT right away, so I think they would be clear. These tanks are entirely on our property.
Oh, beautiful.
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah, we're not into the right, they're not into the right of way.
Thank you. That's really what I was.
You're welcome.
concerned about.
Okay. All right. We have any other public comments? Anybody? We have not received any other?
No.
Okay.
I would just like to make sure that everyone received the updated version of this resolution that I sent earlier today.
Mhm.
It should have like a big gray block in the second paragraph,
Mhm.
which was just a correction. I had made an error in that. It is attached to your agenda. It's on page 4.
Okay, so that is the,
Okay, the quick stuff.
I don't have the grayed out stuff.
June 22nd, try this one. Okay. Has everybody seen that?
No.
You can have this
Okay, let's
one.
take
I
a
have an
quick-
extra.
Here,
If you want to pass it.
Take a quick look at that.
you go.
Here.
Yes.
Okay, so you changed the date in there?
So in the, yeah, if you could just make a copy of that page. Previously, the resolution, the second whereas, where it was explaining which plans we were referencing, it originally said that it was dated March 1st and
Okay.
then revised June 10th. That is incorrect. They're actually, those two dates are for two separate documents. So the new paragraph reads, "The project is depicted on a plan entitled Hyde Park Quick Stop, prepared by Mauri Architects PC, dated March 1st, 2022, and engineering plans entitled Grading and Utility Plan, prepared by Willingham Engineering, revised June 10th, 2022. So I had just the incorrect name on there, and this is the corrected version.
Here, no, that's right, here.
That's fine, I'm not
Sure.
supposed to be here.
Okay. So this is the revised
Yes.
on that, so that's the only change in the resolution that we
Correct.
have right now. Okay, all right. Okay, other questions on that? All right. Then I will entertain a motion to close the public hearing.
Motion?
Second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay. Now, we have a resolution for that? Okay, let me make sure.
The second page didn't bump anything?
Okay, all right. Anybody want to read it? I'll read it. Resolution to grant 3 area variances. This is for the Hyde Park Quick Stop, 4912 Albany Post Road, Staatsburg 12580, dated June 22nd, 2022, Resolution 22-03Z. Whereas the applicant, Mauri Architects PC, on behalf of the owners, Jake Boys Properties LLC, has submitted an application for 3 area variances to renovate and increase the size of an existing gas station, the project, at property located at 4912 Albany Road, Post Road, Hyde Park, New York, identified as tax parcel number 660660287962, in the Neighborhood Business Zoning District, the site. And whereas the project is depicted on a plan entitled Hyde Park Quick Stop, prepared by Mauri Architects, dated March 1st, 2022, and engineered plans entitled Grading and Utility Plan, prepared by Willingham Engineering, revised June 10th, 2022. And whereas, now therefore be it resolved that the Zoning Board of Appeals makes the following findings in accordance with Section 267-B of the Town Law and Hyde Park Zoning Law, Section 108-33.6B2, regarding the requested variance. 1, the requested variance will not produce an undesirable change in the character of the neighborhood or a detriment to nearby properties. The first variance, though the increased lot coverage is numerically substantial, allows for renovations and improvements to the site that will both increase its safety and benefit the nearby residents. This site is the only fueling station on Route 9 for miles between Hyde Park and Rhinebeck, in addition to being one of the only convenience stores in the area. The increased coverage allows for more vehicle traffic lanes, increased safety of the site for both pedestrians and drivers. Furthermore, the nearby KO storage facility also exceeds its lot coverage limit. Consequently, the applicant's proposed increase keeps the character of the immediate surroundings. Excuse me. The second variance will not alter the character of the neighborhood, as the fuel storage tanks are underground and not visible to patrons or passerbys on Route 9. The third variance for increased scale is necessary primarily to allow a larger canopy over the gas pumps. The scale would conform to code if the applicant removed some gas pumps and subsequently reduced the canopy size. However, as stated previously, this is the only fueling station along Route 9 for miles. Importantly, this increase in scale is for the gas canopy, which is elevated 20 feet above the site and therefore will not cause significant impact when customers use the site. Number 2, The benefits sought by the applicant cannot be achieved by some method feasible for the applicant to pursue other than the requested area variance. The proposed variances will allow the applicant to develop a significantly larger portion of the parcel while constructing a new facility that can better accommodate customers. The site design with wraparound asphalt drive will provide safe vehicle access for trucks and trailers, thereby increasing the general safety for all patrons. Additionally, relocating the underground fuel storage to the area near Route 9 will not encroach on the front of the site. The scale variance is only necessary due to the requirement of the canopy at the fueling station and occupies over 30% of the project's total gross square footage. Related, the canopy is mandatory to provide fire suppression over the fuel pumps, let alone protection for customers from the elements in inclement weather. Number 3, the requested variances are numerically substantial. The first variance will increase the lot coverage to 81%, where 70% is the maximum permitted, which is less than a 16% increase. The second variance that the applicant seeks is to reduce the front yard setback to 5 feet 7 inches, whereas 20 feet is the minimum permitted. If granted, the second variance would result in a decrease of 14 feet 5 inches, which represents an over 70% decrease. It is noted that the front yard setback is required for the underground fuel storage that will not be visible. The third variance applicant seeks is to increase the scale to 9,071 square feet, whereas 7,500 square feet is the maximum permitted. The additional 1,571 square feet represents an approximately 20% increase. The requested variance will not have an adverse effect on impact on the physical or environmental conditions in the general neighborhood or district. The first and third variances will have no discernible impact to the environment, as the existing building on the site is already large. Any impact of stormwater runoff from the increased lot coverage will be mitigated through stormwater treatment facilities around the site. The second variance relates to the comment that we made at the beginning of the session here. The second variance, though numerically substantial, will in fact benefit the environment. The applicant seeks to move the underground fuel storage tanks further outside of the wetland stream corridor buffer to its east and south. After considering the related site improvements and the addition of more gas pumps, the proposed location for the fuel storage is the best option. The difficulties are self-created. Number 5, be it resolved further that the Zoning Board of Appeals hereby grants the requested variances subject to the following conditions. Pursuant to Section 108-335F1, the authorized activity must commence within 1 year from the date of issuance. Otherwise, it is revoked. 2, payment of all fees and escrow. This motion has been moved. Is there a second?
Second.
Madam Secretary, would you poll, please?
James Agrawal,
Yes.
Gerald Bowen,
Yes.
Paul Donnelly,
Yes.
Richard Perkins,
Yes.
David McNary.
Yes. Congratulations, sir.
Thank you very much,
We
everybody.
look forward to your project, and we're excited about it.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you.
Have a good night.
That'd be nice.
Okay. 2206, the Embico project. Is there anybody here? Oh. Let me, a motion to open the public hearing.
Motion.
Second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay. We have a comment on this proposal. We had an opportunity to make a site visit to this site yesterday and subsequent prior to that. There are 2 issues here. One is the percentage of coverage of the house, impervious coverage of the house, which has exceeded the standards. And second is the height variance. And there's a height variance roughly of, I think, 3 feet. And there is a maximum coverage going from 15 to 23% coverage. That has subsequently been reduced to approximately 19%. In the discussions that we had at the site visit, the owner indicated that they thought there were other opportunities for them to reduce the impervious road that goes into the property, and they asked if they could come back at the next meeting and present some alternatives. So with that, I would like a motion to continue this public hearing to July 27.
Motion.
Second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, so public hearing is continued to July 27.
Should we check if there are any public comments first?
I'm sorry, I beg your pardon. Is there anybody here that would like to make comments on it?
No.
Not?
She said no, no.
Okay, good. Well, can we wait till July?
It's
Good.
not- it's a
Okay,
real
thank you
source
very
of
much.
place.
Okay,
It's not,
okay.
it's not from the road, it's from the river. I'm more concerned about the impervious.
Yep, we're moving on.
Those are blocks.
Okay. Gentlemen, tether your horses. The next one is 2207, the Coachum family. Welcome back. Hi, guys.
Hello, everybody.
How are you, sir?
Very well, how are you?
Good.
Good.
Okay, we've had some good discussions about this.
Okay.
Let me make it formal. We need to open the public hearing. Is there a motion of public?
Motion.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay. Now we're official.
Okay, great.
So, we talked about a number of options, and is there any new information or new things that we need to consider?
I don't have any new information, no.
Okay, we had, if I recall quickly, we have two issues, really. I'll call it the chicken poop, in terms of its enclosure or not enclosed, was one variance. And the second really was the distance from the pen to the houses and the
Yeah, with the
allowable.
rooster or the,
Right,
or the hens.
rooster
Yep,
or just the chickens. And there clearly is a difference in terms of, if you have a rooster, it has to be significantly further away.
yes. And one thing I would like to offer is we have kind of talked about it, and we are willing to get rid of the rooster to lessen the amount of the variance.
Okay, that's good, okay. Which would allow us then to look at the variance which is closer to you, okay.
Right.
Are there questions? How about you guys? How about you? No?
I just,
How about your sister? Anything? Sure? Okay. Is there any other public comment on this?
we're after that, right?
None? Did you have?
I'm out of practice.
Okay, I doubt that.
I heard on the radio this morning, but out near Massachusetts, hundreds of birds just washed up on the beach with the avian flu, and they're concerned
Mhm.
about that. Do you monitor your chickens for something like that, or?
Yeah, I mean, obviously, if they are ill, we haven't ever had any issues.
Yeah.
There isn't any issues in the area proper. It's not something that's prevalent in this area
Okay.
per se. Obviously, we are aware of it, and if there are any issues, we would have to eradicate. And we actually spoke with the Dutchess County Soil and Water. Yes, thank you, Ted. And there isn't any issues in the area at all with it.
Good.
So
Okay.
we are monitoring though, and obviously, if there are any issues,
May I ask what symptoms are?
Oh,
You're getting
geez.
personal now?
No.
They stop playing. They get tired.
It's pretty obvious, though.
I'm the mouthpiece. That's actually the brain to the operation right there, as you can see. So,
Good.
yeah. So we are aware of it. There isn't any issues in the
All
area.
right, good. Are there any other questions of the public? If not, I'd entertain a motion to close the public hearing.
Motion to close?
Second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay. We have resolution here? Who has that? You have that? You have that? Would you?
Sure.
Would you like to read that? Yeah.
Resolution to grant an area variance, Coachum-Animal Husbandry, 26 Bellows Way, dated June 22nd, 2022. Resolution 22-07Z. Whereas the applicant's owners, John and Kelly Coachum, have submitted an application for area variances to allow animal husbandry for chickens and a rooster closer to the neighborhooding residences, as well the project, a property located at 26 Bellows Way, Poughkeepsie, New York, 12601, identified as tax parcel number 6164-02-901912 in the Greenbelt zoning district to site. And whereas the project depicted on drawings prepared by Mr. Coachum dated May 5th, 2022, the plan and measurements determined using Dutchess County parcel access, and whereas this
is the fun part.
Yeah. Now, therefore, it be resolved that the zoning boards of appeals makes the following findings in accordance with section 26(7)(b) of the town law and Hyde Park zoning law section 108-33.6B2 regarding the requested variance. The requested variance will not produce an undesirable change in the character of the neighborhood or a detriment to nearby properties. The applicant initially applied for animal husbandry of chickens and a rooster. The chickens are contained in a 4,000+ square foot pen in the woods behind the applicant's house, and the chickens are relatively quiet. The noise is further mitigated by the forest cover. Further, the chickens eat bugs and ticks, which will benefit the neighborhood. The rooster, however, can be a detriment to the peace of the neighborhood as it crows frequently and loudly throughout the day. Removing the rooster will not only reduce the severity of the first variance, changing the requested dimension from 350 feet to 250 feet, but will also reduce the level of noise. Husbandry of the rooster may violate the town law chapter 75-4M, which specifies that loud birds which disturb the peace are unreasonable noise and are subject to fines. The benefit sought by the applicant, number 2. The benefit sought by the applicant cannot be achieved by some method feasible for the applicant to pursue other than the area variances. The Coachum family homeschools their children and uses animal husbandry of chickens as part of the curriculum. If the applicant wishes to conduct animal husbandry on their property, he must seek variances as neighborhooding houses are too close to any available grazing or housing area. The Zoning Board of Appeals is required to grant the minimum variance necessary. Removal of the rooster greatly decreases the variances. As stated above, this lessens the minimum required setback from 350 feet to 250 feet. Furthermore, the applicant has stated they do not need the rooster to conduct animal husbandry of chickens. The benefit, as stated by the applicant, to gather eggs from chickens and teach responsibility to their children. The applicant has also stated that they do not want to fertilize the eggs to increase their numbers of chickens. The applicant has further stated that they maintain the rooster only for crowd control and protection from predators, as the chickens are housed safely in a pen and do not need the rooster to produce eggs. There is no need for the rooster. The first variance will be greatly decreased by the removal of the rooster. The neighborhood will not be affected by loud rooster crows, and the applicant will still receive the intended benefit. Number 3, the first variance is numerically substantial, but the second and third variances are not. The first variance will be made less substantial by conditioning its approval on the removal of the rooster. Animal husbandry with roosters may be conducted no closer than 350 feet to nearby residences. However, animal husbandry with only chickens may be conducted 250 feet to nearby residences, a difference of 100 feet. The removal of the rooster will greatly decrease the area variance as well as the noise levels. Number 4, the requested variance will not have an adverse effect or impact on the physical or environmental conditions in the general neighborhood or district. Regarding the second variance, there is no discernible concern for pollution of the wells or aquifer. Dutchess County Agriculture Environmental Management Program team created a summary report of the property which reflected there is no concern for the environment. Storage of chicken manure will be contained in the coop chicken house, which has a solid floor and is elevated above the ground. The applicant cleans the poop weekly and takes the manure off-site. While the manure storage coop requires variances, the pen at large adheres to section 108-4.3B5A. This section specifies animals may not be housed, fed, or grazed within 50 feet of a well. The pen and any potential manure throughout it is well outside this radius. The applicant does not spread manure throughout the pen or anywhere else on the property. Regarding the third variance, there is little possibility of chicken odors carrying to nearby residences. In the same aforementioned summary report, noted upon visiting the site, the chickens are cared for well and there is no odor coming from the chickens. Number 5, the difficulties are self-created. Without approvals, the applicant purchased chickens and a rooster and has participated in animal husbandry for several years. They sought these area variances to remedy a noise violation in order to remedy from the zoning administrator. Be it further resolved that the Zoning Board of Appeals hereby grants the requested variance subject to the following conditions. 1, removal of rooster from 26 Bellows Way. 2, granted variances are specific to 13 chickens only. Any change in animal type or addition of animals will result in revocation of the variances. Number 3, payment of all fees and escrow. Number 4, pursuant to section 108-33.5 F1, the authorized activity must commence within 1 year from the date of issuance. Otherwise, this variance is revoked.
It's been moved. Is there a second for this resolution?
Second.
Madam Secretary, would you poll the board, please?
James Agarwal.
Yes.
Gerald Bowen.
Yes.
Paul Donnelly.
Yes.
Richard Perkins.
Yes.
David McNary.
Yes. Congratulations, guys.
Thank you very much, Board.
Thank you.
One thing that I would like to ask, obviously, we want to rehome the rooster. Is there a certain sort of time variance that I can have after this to rehome the rooster?
I would think it would be reasonable for 30 days. Do
Okay.
you think that's reasonable?
I will, we are already actively trying, and we will be diligent in our approach.
Okay.
Okay,
Good.
thank you.
One more question.
Yes.
The, some of the reading I did suggested that roosters on adjacent properties kind of talk to each other to try and exert their dominance. Is it possible that the removal of this rooster may quiet the other roosters?
I don't really know. I can only ascertain, which, you know,
The
your
neighbor's shaking her head. Yeah.
attorney would
She's there.
advise against, right?
Rich, are you gonna take the rooster?
Clients have already moved their roosters, and theirs are already significantly quieter
Good.
to us than
Okay.
they have.
All right.
Are you sleeping
Good.
better?
Yes.
Well, congratulations.
Thank you very much, Board.
And guys, we're excited about your project. When do we get a dozen eggs? Okay. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
And good luck on the project. Okay, we're going to go to Wenzel next.
Yes?
Would you mind if I said something quickly?
Sure.
Okay. Some things that's been brought up over the course of this whole thing was, does it change the characteristics of the neighborhood?
Uh-huh.
And we've been living here for 5 years now, and our neighbors that have come in, their drug use has changed the characteristics of our neighborhood in a very negative way. And there's no laws or anything that I can do when my children are swinging on the swing set and we have to bring them inside because the marijuana and the smoke is all day long. And I just wanted to bring this forward for maybe in the future, if there's any rules or zoning laws that could possibly be enforced for that type of activity where, you know, something that does really significantly have a negative impact on our life. We were going to sell at one point and decided, you know, we were going to stay there. We love our neighborhood and all the other neighbors, but it's really had a negative impact on us, and just something I wanted to bring to light because it is something that really truly does change the characteristics of our neighborhood.
Tell me your name again, I'm sorry.
Kelly.
Kelly?
Yeah, Pilgrim.
And what's your address?
26 Bellows Way.
26.
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
you're.
Yeah.
For the last.
Yes.
Okay,
All right.
okay.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Okay, we're going to skip one, we're going to go to the Wenzel 2209Z. We need a motion to open the public hearing on this, please.
Motion.
Second? Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay. Welcome, sir. Welcome back.
Good evening. Brian Watts from Days Dakota here on behalf of the applicant, the Winstals.
Right.
We are here again to seek a variance for the front yard setback. The applicant is seeking to construct a basic two-car garage in the front of their mid-century split-level home. And the location of the existing setback and home, the home's already in the front yard setback by the north and western faces. The setback line actually divides the house about diagonally. And they're seeking to construct a two-car garage, which would make the most sense in the northeast corner where the existing garage is. And it's directly adjacent to a very large rock outcropping that's on the scale of it's larger than the house.
That's the one that is to the right that I said.
Yes.
I was wondering, with all that land, why are they squishing that garage in the front?
It's the only.
It's not as obvious on parcel access.
Correct. I mean, that would be, an ideal alternative would be to build off of that side of the house, but it's not really feasible with that amount of rock.
They don't want to sell crushed stone?
I don't think they care to.
Good. All right. I think we see the picture. Questions?
No.
It's pretty straightforward. Okay. Do we have any public comments? Okay. If not, I'll entertain a motion to close the public hearing.
Motion.
Second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, good. Thank you. I think we have a resolution. And Rich?
Yep.
Is there I didn't get a copy of that. Do you have? Maybe?
Rich, do you have it?
I got it.
Can you make another?
I got it.
I can read it.
Okay. Yeah, why don't you go ahead and read it? Go ahead.
Yeah, I've got it.
Okay.
Well, you know what, I've got it, so I want to give it to you to read.
Go ahead.
Waiting for,
Yeah.
Okay.
All right, are we ready?
Does everyone have the resolution?
yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, resolution to grant an area variance, Andrew Winstill, 9 Shriver Lane, I'm not sure if that's correct.
Shriver.
Yes.
Today's date, resolution 22-09Z. Whereas the applicant, Day Stokosa Engineering, on behalf of owner Andrew Winstill, has submitted an application for an area variance for front yard setback relief to complete the construction of a 24 by 24 foot garage at property located at 9 Shriver Lane, Hyde Park, New York, 12538, identified as tax parcel 6165-05-580660 in the neighborhood zoning district. And whereas the project is depicted on a plan entitled Lands of Winstall, prepared by Day Stokosa Engineering, PC, dated April 10, 2022, and whereas, now therefore be it resolved that the Zoning Board of Appeals makes the following findings in accordance with Section 267-B of the Town Law and Hyde Park Zoning Law, Section 108-33.6B2, regarding the requested variance. The requested variance will not produce an undesirable change in the character of the neighborhood or be a detriment to nearby properties. The addition of the garage will match the existing architecture of the dwelling as well as maintain the character of the neighborhood. Many homes in the neighborhood have garages and many of them are already built within the setback. This neighborhood was built before current zoning standards took effect. This house in particular was built in 1956. Number 2, the benefits sought by the applicant cannot be achieved by some method feasible for the applicant to pursue other than an area variance. The proposed location is the only viable place for the garage. Additionally, the house was built before current standards and is already within the setback. Nearly any location on the lot would require setback variance except for the eastern side of the lot. This side, however, is blocked by a large rock outcropping. Constructing the garage here would require extensive blasting. This is both expensive for the applicant and disruptive to the neighborhood, therefore not a viable option. Number 3, the requested variance is numerically substantial. The requested variance represents a 54% change in the front yard setback standards, changing from 50 to 23 feet. 4, the requested variance will not have an adverse effect or impact on the physical or environmental conditions in the general neighborhood or district. Decreasing the yard setback requirement will not have any impacts on the natural environment. There are no nearby bodies of water, and the rock outcropping makes the lot quite impervious. The addition of the garage will not impact the visual environment either. The lot is at the end of a cul-de-sac, and the large outcropping will hide the garage from view while passerbys drive towards the site. Number 5, the difficulties are self-created. Be it further resolved that the Zoning Board of Appeals hereby grants the requested variance subject to the following conditions. Number 1, payment of all fees and escrows. Number 2, pursuant to Section 108-33.5 F1, the authorized activity must commence within 1 year from the date of issuance, otherwise this variance is revoked.
Okay. It has been moved. Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
We have the secretary to take your vote, please.
James Agrawal?
Yes.
Gerald Bowen?
Yes.
Paul Donnelly?
Yes.
Richard Perkins?
Yes.
David McNary?
Yes. Congratulations. Look forward to the garage.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Have a good evening.
Okay. At this point, the board will take a brief recess for an executive session.
I believe we need to.
Oh, no, we don't need to do that yet. No, I stand corrected. We're not going to do that.
Right, I believe we do need to go back to
Right.
22-08C
okay.
first.
And we have board members going to excuse themselves from this?
Yeah.
Thank you. Okay, we want to consider then 2208Z. Mr. Ishak? John Carroll, is there a representative here? Yes, sir. Hi. Welcome.
Good evening.
I'd like a motion to open public hearing. Second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Okay. Welcome, sir.
Hi, how are you?
Good.
So I understood, I sent a letter that Mr. Ishak had sent to the board.
We have received that.
Okay, I don't have a copy of it, so I don't know if you want to read it into the record or not.
Would you like me to read it?
I'm sorry?
Would you like me to read it?
Yes, please.
Yes.
Okay, so this was received today. Dear Chairman and members of the board, I just wanted to inform you that I have spoken to my tenant that is occupying the apartment that would end up being a part of the main apartment and being converted into one unit. They are aware of having to move out due to the circumstances. They just ask for some time to find a new place due to location of their job and budget due to inflation in rentals. Also, I have had the tenants clean up the property and remove all of their belongings. There are no longer tires, wheels, or car parts behind or on the side of the house. I apologize for any inconvenience and disturbance. I travel a lot for work. I am a superintendent for New York City Transit MTA bus. I try my best to maintain this property and another while working full-time, traveling for work, and trying to spend time with my family. Going forward, I just want you all to know that I will do a better job at maintaining a clean and presentable property. Again, I sincerely apologize for any inconvenience and disturbance. I am thankful for you working with me and being patient throughout this process. Sincerely, Christopher Ishak.
Okay, good. Other comments, sir, in terms of the issue before us?
I have nothing to add at this point.
Okay, so the variance still stands in terms of, or the request for variance still stands in terms of a permit which requires 0.5 acres for a dwelling, and you're asking for basically 2 dwellings on a 0.39 acre. That's the variance that you're,
Right.
is there any new information or anything else that we should?
No, there's, I mean, it's, at this point, I guess the goal of this would be to get two-family use on the property.
Okay, good. Now, we have, further, we have, I think we're making arrangements for a site visit.
Monday.
And has that been scheduled yet?
I believe it's Monday.
Monday, yeah,
Okay.
between 12 and 1.
Monday, okay, all right, 12. So we are all anxious to see the site, take a look at that, and have some discussion there. As a consequence, then, we need a motion to continue this.
Should we check to see if there's any public comments?
We can, we should. Are there any other individuals who would like to make comments from the public? I think the young lady that left, that was a comment from her on this? Was it?
No, that was the other one.
Okay.
That was the chicken coop situation. I
Okay.
have some questions.
Yes,
Um,
John, please.
I understand from the letter that one of the tenants has been asked to leave. Would you know if this is, which tenant this is? Not by name, but by, is this the person who works on cars?
No, in fact, the person who works on cars is in the, if you're looking at the front of the house, the unit on the right-hand side.
Okay.
This would be the unit on the left-hand side and in the back, which would be combined into the main part of the house as one unit, ultimately.
I see. So that person would be remaining.
Presumably. And hopefully not any longer trying to conduct a business on the property. I think that would probably be an important
That would be
feature.
advisable, yeah.
John, any
For
other-
living only.
Yeah, but there are a lot of questions that I have that I asked last time and you were not aware because you're not the owner. For example, I don't know if you found answers to these questions. How long has the owner owned this property?
I'm sorry, I do
Okay.
not know the answer to that
Okay.
question.
And I think I also asked, did the owner try to get a C of O, a certificate of occupancy, for the property before he bought it?
I think that that was not part of the deal, if you will. I don't know how he purchased the house, but in whatever way that was, it didn't require him obtaining a C of O for it.
Okay. I also asked some questions about one of the reasons why land has to be as large as is needed, 0.5 acres. There are numerous reasons, but one of which is Board of Health approval, and that would involve the septic. Have you had trouble? Do you know if you've had trouble with the septic on this property?
I think there was some comment at the last meeting about an issue with the septic system, but
Right.
I had talked to Mr. Ishak about that, and he was he assured me that the problem had less to do with the septic system and more to do with some errant plumbing that was just running out on the ground.
Oh,
So that issue has been addressed.
okay, that issue has been addressed.
Yes.
Okay. Let me see. Those are the main questions. I'm just looking to make sure. Now, how does the owner own other rental properties?
I'm only involved in this one. I have no idea.
Okay. Then, you see, all these are questions that I would need to ask the owner.
Right, of course.
And maybe he'll be there on Monday, and I could ask.
Well, I'm hopeful that he will be here for the next meeting.
Okay,
I think we've already talked about the importance of him being here.
yeah, okay. And then along that line, I would like to find out if he does have others, does he have an individual or a company that maintains the properties, that checks the references of renters and the like?
All these things you'll have to ask him.
Okay, and the last of the questions is, with the leaving of one of the tenants, how many people will be living, assuming that the two remaining renters stay, how many people will be living on this?
I believe that the total would probably be something like 6.
6.
The family of 4, and then the husband and wife and the car business thing.
I see. Okay, so 6 people will be living on the property. And of course, one of the problems with this is that if it's approved, the next person could be a family of 6 or 8 or 10, you know, in one of the units. And this is a lot that has a limited area for septic and for other purposes. You know, there's a reason for the area needed for 2 families. But I think most of my questions would really need the owner, so.
Okay.
You know, thank you for trying.
Oh,
you know, certainly.
You're welcome. Thank you.
Okay.
What steps has the owner taken, if any, to, I guess, mitigate or stop the car business or that repair business?
I think he's pretty much told the fellow that, you
But
know,
isn't that guy?
He's, whoever it is that's running this operation has already been told that he can't do that on the property. And I believe that he's already gotten a place to do his work other than in the garage on
So
the
there
property.
should be no more Jeeps.
There should be no more
trailers, et
should be
cetera.
no more cars parked there. There should be no more work
Should be.
going on in the garage. That should be taken care of off-site.
Do you know how the owner is going to enforce that?
Again, a question for the owner that I cannot answer.
Thank you.
Yeah, that's going to be a problem.
Yeah, I apologize for that. Unfortunately, his job does keep him out of town 3 weeks a month.
I mean, we understand that, but if you're here to speak on the application, but can't speak as to all the details, it just puts us at a bit of a disadvantage, and the
I
board
understand.
members. And him as well, and he's in violation, so we don't want to keep continuing the public hearing. I understand there's a site visit, but at some point, this is gonna have to be a priority for him.
Yeah.
So that we can get those questions answered.
Well, I will impress that upon him.
Thank you.
Any other comments from the public? If not, we'll entertain a motion to continue this public hearing.
Motion.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay. Thank you, sir, for coming.
Thank you
Appreciate
very
it.
much.
Are you going to be there Monday?
I will. I will probably not be with Mr. Ishak either.
Okay, okay.
Maybe I can get his brother to come. He might be able to shed some light on some of these
Okay,
things.
very good. Thank you, sir.
Okay, thank you.
Appreciate it. Okay. 2210, Culinary Institute.
Can I be?
Aha.
Daisy, can I be excused now? Thank you. Okay, thank you. Good.
Can you sit down?
Yes.
We want to get,
Are you walking?
Oh, yeah. Can somebody get
you
Paul?
want to see if
Okay.
Paul was over there?
Yeah, I'll
Thank
bring him in.
Okay.
Good to see you.
We have a did we open?
We should just wait for Paul, I think.
Okay,
Okay. Thank you, John.
we've got a member returning here.
On Craig.
Did I open the public hearing yet?
Yes, you may.
I did?
No, you didn't,
Okay.
not yet.
We need a motion to open the public hearing for 22-10. Is there a motion? Move. Can I have a motion? Give me a motion.
We'll have a motion.
Is there a second?
Second.
Thank you. All in favor? All in favor? Gentlemen? Gentlemen?
I think we
Yes.
should,
Yes.
I think
Yes.
maybe we should redo the motion.
Do we have a motion to open the public hearing?
Hearing for the
Yes.
color is to 22-10.
Yes.
Good evening, sir.
Good evening.
We finally got our act together.
How are you?
Welcome
It's okay. It's we're getting closer to Friday, so.
Yes.
We welcome.
Thank you. Do you need me to go over the?
Can you just give us a
Program?
brief summary? I think
Sure.
pretty much aware.
I'd be happy to. The Culinary Institute in Hyde Park, who's been there for many years, is undergoing a rebrand, a graphic rebrand of their identity through an agency that they have hired, and it's essentially a campus-wide in Hyde Park as well as their other two locations. This requires them to change a couple of key exterior signage elements, and those are the two monuments that are on Route 9 at the north and south entrances to the campus. Our proposal does our very best to maintain the existing size and scale of the current signs while bringing them slightly closer into compliance with a reduction of the size of the restaurant panels. We've kept some of the similar colors. The background will still be green. The brand has a white and a orange logo, which is part of their identity now. We'll be maintaining the existing exterior lighting, as well as the location of the signs will remain the same, and the stone bases and the plantings around those bases will also remain intact. So it's just the signage element will be removed and replaced with a very similar look and feel, same size, same square footage, slightly smaller restaurant panels.
Okay. Other questions? Are there any comments from the public?
The variance suggests that we're going from 30 to 35, which would be larger.
That's the way the code is written. When I write the agendas, I don't care what the current is. I just say what is required by code and what they're requesting.
Oh, okay, so the 35 is over
Correct.
still.
But it's smaller than what is there.
Similar to the drugstore.
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. Okay. There being no public hearing, I entertain a motion to close the public hearing.
Before we do that,
Yes,
we
ma'am.
should finish the seeker review.
Okay, I was going to do that. Okay. So we have a resolution here to adopt a secret determination of significance. We want to do that in public hearing? Don't we have to close the public hearing?
Does it matter which one happens first?
It doesn't, but
Okay.
you can identify what category of seeker it falls under during the public hearing, and then close it, and then read the resolution.
Okay. Help me out here. This falls under the category,
Fourth whereas.
oh, part,
Oh, fourth whereas.
So there's a document I prepared for you that has,
okay. Whereas the zoning board of appeals has considered the criteria contained in 6.NYCRR 617.7 and thoroughly analyzed all identified relevant areas of environmental. Is that the area? Is that the one?
so I have prepared EAF parts 2 and 3, which I distributed to you,
Right.
I believe, about 2 weeks ago.
Yes.
Did everyone receive that and review it?
We have.
Okay. So Chairman, if you would like, you can make a motion to accept the EAF parts 2 and 3, and also to classify the action as unlisted.
Okay. So,
Here.
Unlisted.
I make a motion. I make a motion to accept EAF, Part 2 and Part 3.
and to classify the action as unlisted.
And the requested action is unlisted.
Classify,
And
so-
classify the action as unlisted.
yes, so that just means it's not a type 1 or a type 2 action. Type 1 is when there's going to be a significant environmental impact. Type 2 is when it's most likely not.
It's already determined by DEC to not be
It's not.
significant.
So it's a
And
t-
this is unlisted, this is neither of those.
Unlisted.
So that's why we
Unlisted.
had to do the
Okay.
EAF parts 2 and 3.
So we have a
Motion.
motion to accept that. Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay. So therefore, we can close the public hearing and then go to the resolution to accept this. I'd entertain a motion to close the public hearing.
I make a motion to close the public hearing.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? We're getting a little rambunctious here. Okay, we have a resolution adopting a CEQA determination of significance. Culinary Institute of America signage, 1946 Campus Drive, dated June 22nd, 2022, Resolution 22-10ZA. Whereas the applicant Timely Signs of Kingston has submitted on behalf of the Culinary Institute of America in an application for an area variance to increase the maximum permissible square feet of freestanding monument signs on an existing educational facility located at 1946 Campus Drive, Hyde Park, New York, identified as tax parcel number 60630290663 and 6063029666578 in the St. Andrews zoning district, the site. And whereas, therefore, be it resolved that the Zoning Board of Appeals hereby determines that the project will not result in any significant adverse environmental impacts and that a draft environmental impact statement will not be prepared. This has been moved. Is there a second?
Second.
Madam Secretary?
James Aggarwal?
Yes.
Paul Donnelly?
Yes.
Richard Perkins?
Yes.
I skipped somebody.
Yeah.
Gerald.
Sorry. Gerald Bowen?
Yes.
I'm sorry. David McNary?
Yes.
I'm sorry about that.
Okay. Okay. Now, we have a, it's not Friday yet.
Close enough.
We have a second resolution to grant area variance, Culinary Institute of America signage, 1946 campus, Hyde Park, New York. Resolution 22-10Z dated June 22nd, 2022. Whereas the applicant Timely Signs of Kingston has submitted on behalf of the Culinary Institute an application for an area variance to increase the maximum permissible square footage of freestanding monument signs on an existing education facility located at 1946 Campus Drive, Hyde Park, New York, identified as tax parcel number 60630290663 and 6063029666578 in the St. Andrews zoning district, the site. And whereas, excuse me, page turn. Now therefore, be it resolved that the Zoning Board of Appeals makes the following findings in accordance with Section 267B of the Town Law and Hyde Park Zoning Law, Section 108-33.6B2 regarding the requested variance. Number one, the requested variance will not produce an undesirable change in the character of the neighborhood or be a detriment to nearby properties. The increased square footage of the sign is to allow the word restaurants to be separate from the main sign face with its new logo. This allows the applicant to easily and effectively represent both its school and restaurants to passerbys traveling along Albany Post Road, aka Route 9, in either direction. The sign design is not intrusive or outstanding. The scale of the sign face is proportional to the size of the stone structure on which it is displayed. As the new sign faces will be mounted to the existing monument structure, no ground will be disturbed. While the proposed signage is larger than what is permitted by code, it is actually coming more in compliance than the existing signage. Therefore, it will have less of an impact than the existing signs. Number two, the benefit sought by the applicant could not be achieved by some method feasible for the applicant to pursue other than an area variance. The applicant is rebranding and wishes to display their new logo, school name, and the word restaurants in order to represent itself to passerbys and alert potential visitors of its location. The applicant could potentially reduce the overall size of one or both of the sign faces but doing so would make the symbol and wording less easily discernible and would make its width smaller than the existing structure to which it's attached. The applicant wishes to reuse the existing structure. Alternately, the applicant could add restaurants beneath the logo on the primary sign panel. The applicant has stated that there is only stone visible behind the restaurant sign, so this sign panel can be removed if necessary. However, the applicant states that for restaurants to be readable to drivers on Route 9, these letters will be larger than the logo itself. Adding to it all, one sign would crowd and overwhelm the new logo, and the applicant does not want this. Number 3, the requested variance is not numerically substantial. If granted, the permit square footage of the sign faces would increase by 5.35 square feet, an increase of approximately 17.8%. Additionally, the new signs will be more compliant with the town code than the existing signs. Number 4, the requested variance will not have an adverse effect or impact on the physical or environmental conditions in the general neighborhood or district. Allowing the sign faces to increase in square footage beyond what is permitted by the zoning law will not result in the sign having any significant adverse effects on the environment. As discussed above, the impacts of the requested variance on the site and neighborhood will be minimal. There will be no ground disturbance or impact on environmental resources as a result of increasing sign face size, and the impact the sign will have on the environment will be approximately the same if the sign square footage were zone compliant. The existing lighting and mounting structure will remain the same. Both of these are compliant. The difficulties, number 5, are self-created. Be it further resolved that the Board of Appeals hereby grants the requested variance subject to the following conditions. The variance will expire with the removal or relocation of the signs or with any other change to the structure or sign faces. Payment of all fees and escrow, number 2. Number 3, pursuant to section 10833.5 F1, the authorized activity must commence within 1 year from the date of issuance. Otherwise, this variance is revoked. Madam Secretary, it's been moved, and is there a second?
Sorry.
Madam Secretary, would you poll the board, please?
James Agrawal?
Yes.
Gerald Bowen?
Yes.
Paul Donnelly?
Yes.
Richard Perkins?
Yes.
David McNary?
Yes. Congratulations, sir. We look forward to the signs and visiting for many fine meals.
Dinner in a
Thank
few months.
thank you to the board for your help, and also to Kathleen and Serena for their assistance in helping us with this application. We appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Okay. 22-11, the Doberman. Good evening, sir.
Good evening.
May I add a motion to open a public hearing?
Motion.
22-11?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Welcome, sir.
Thank you. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. I'm Paul Dobman. I'm representing my son Michael, and it's his property. He has his mother-in-law living in that house. And as you mentioned earlier, we have quite a challenge with water, with the surface water during rain and subsequent storms. Last year, he had over 2 feet of water. We do have 2 sump pumps that run, but unfortunately, the backup generator the backup battery backup only lasts for a couple hours, and then it's
Not
all
good.
over.
Not good.
We've replaced furnaces, hot water heaters, washers, dryers. So we just finished completing a dual sump pump system, but it does require a dedicated 20 amp circuit, which we had changed and done by an electrician. And we do need a generator because when the floods come, the power goes out. So he did submit a small drawing of the plot. I think you have that. It was done by the Essential Power Systems, the generator installation company. So we are requesting a side lot variation from 10 feet to 5 feet to accommodate that. There's no other place to really put this. There's an exterior fuel oil tank, there's a well, there's septic system lines that run out. So it's just moving a little bit closer to the side lot to accommodate the small generator.
Okay. All right, so I have a picture of it, yeah. Questions?
I have a generator. I put it behind, it's on wheels though. I put it behind my garage.
Yeah.
And I have a system set up where I can plug it in when I need to. You want to have something that comes on like this.
This is a permanent one. She's
Yeah.
75 years old, and when it rains, she don't sleep. I mean, I'm maintaining the house for her, for my son. He had to be relocated down to North Carolina, so I kind of have that obligation.
Yeah.
So we are really trying to get more of a permanent solution, so we don't get a phone call at 2 o'clock in the morning.
I wish mine was permanent.
Okay.
How many KWs is the generator?
I'm not sure, but I think it's not a huge one because the house is tiny. It's only a one-bedroom house. I think it's between 10 and 14,000 kilowatts. It is a permanent unit.
Sure.
It is extremely quiet. It's on its own base,
Mhm.
and it's done, the installation is professional.
Other question?
One,
Yes.
which direction do you have to pump the water? To the road or out?
It's actually to the rear of the house, so I have a picture I could show you, but in the diagram, it's kind of, doesn't really show it.
Does
but
it actually go down back there?
Yeah, it does,
Good.
to a point. The creek bed, the old creek bed that goes on St. Peter's property through there, I mean, I keep hearing all these stories about aquifers and underground rivers and all that stuff. The water is a tremendous problem. in
So there was
that
a
area.
creek bed there that this is
Yeah.
built on.
My son has a place, another house right next to Dunkin' Donuts. I can't remember the name of his road. He's got sump pumps run 24 hours a day. It's
Ooh.
just,
Okay.
and the town has been very helpful. About 8 years ago, they did a lot to help mitigate that. They did change a catch basin, they did some work in it, and I know it was something that the town did, and it has improved dramatically.
improved it, yeah.
It is a challenge for all of us.
Yeah, well, in a concern, a comment we made early in terms of just the environment, that it's not going to get better in terms of
Oh, it's
water.
gonna
We're
be
going to have
worse.
more problems with
Yeah.
this.
And
no
one of the
question.
reasons why I'm trying to get this accomplished before the next big storm. That's,
Okay.
we're moving forward to try to
Yeah.
get that generator in.
Okay. So, other questions? We need then to set a public hearing?
This was the public hearing, but we don't have a resolution prepared, so I would just recommend continuing to July so we can
Okay,
write a
so
resolution.
we're going to continue the public hearing until July, see if there are any other public comments. Are there anybody else from the public? No? See if there's any other comments, and by that time, we'll have resolutions prepared. And
Yes, may I, David?
Yes, you may.
Chair, thank you. With the permanent generator, that has to be in close proximity to the home in order for it to work the way you need it to,
It does.
right?
There's not a real option. The side lot, it's a narrow lot. There's no side lot, really. We can't put it to the sides of either house, and we can't put it in the front. It is really out of public view. It is not an obtrusive looking or noisy situation. So,
Okay. And as far as how it is to the next residence, does anybody know? I only have this. I don't have the plan, the hand-drawn plan, so I'm just trying to make sure I know where it is.
Well, it's circled here on the,
So the next closest house is the one to the left, and there's quite a distance in between where the generator would be and
there's
the
two
home.
driveways that separate to the next residence.
as you look at the house to the left, is that a commercial?
I don't think so.
No? There's a large lot as I'm looking at your driveway up, to the left of it is it's a large lot.
West
It
Numbers
is.
12 and 14.
I'm sorry.
West side.
The west side, well, I don't know, west, east, I don't know what
Yes, it's
direction.
west.
But to your left, as you're looking at her house,
Okay.
it's a
Oh.
large lot. Is that a house or is that a commercial?
I think it's part of a house. It's like a two-story structure, and then there's some buildings that were used for like a building or storage or wood,
Okay,
some kind of a shop.
yeah, I got it.
They're new owners, I understand.
Okay, okay. So this is really, they're on the other side of their lot in terms of this.
Yep.
Yeah. Was that what you were concerned
Mr. Chairman, I have
with?
another
Okay.
question.
Yes.
I noticed that there's an oil tank that's listed. Is this going to be oil-fired or gas-fired?
No, it's going to have a propane tank.
And where would the propane tank be?
I don't know if he listed it on here.
And also the size,
I'm sorry?
size of the tank.
I actually don't know. I can get back with that information, but I can't answer that.
It's not crucial, but I'd be curious.
Yeah, I don't know.
For when
The
you
tank,
do yours.
there are restrictions.
Say again? For when you do yours generator? I already have one. I'll do yours.
Okay, so the generator's here, oil tank is there. So my guess is gonna be right next to it.
There's a requirement, I know they go through this, there's actually, I can submit this if you want to. There is a requirement by code, there has to be so many feet from the window, they have to be so many feet from the tank. So it's,
Let me see that picture.
the generator's gonna be probably close to whatever the 5-foot side lot. So the tank would probably be back in here away from the,
Yeah.
he's required to be.
They just
so
run
many-
that line. And also the
underground. They
generator's
can run
required
the
to
line
be
anywhere, so the tank could
away
even
from
be
that
behind the
window.
shed.
Is like a 10-foot.
The generator's gonna be over here.
Yeah, but
Yes.
has
Okay.
setback from the
Would you
house.
like to see that?
Can I just
Well,
take-
so if
take
it
a
can
look?
be behind the shed, then why couldn't it be then
Yes.
behind the,
The power is supposed to be close to the house to get the conductor into the house.
Okay.
Close as possible to where the breaker box is.
Okay.
The line can be located anywhere, actually. It's a shielded propane line. That could be put maybe behind the shed or
They
off a
bury
distance,
them
but the
sometimes.
generator kind of has to be there.
Yeah,
okay,
okay,
According to the installer.
That's pretty tight.
got it.
yeah.
It's pretty tight.
So what you're saying is probably the tank is gonna have to be back, maybe the other side of the shed.
Could be.
They're there on the other side.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay, all right,
Or even buried if you want to be fancy.
okay.
Yeah, I don't like very.
Okay, so, we have a motion to set, to continue the public hearing, to the 27th,
Yes,
Motion.
July 27th.
July 27th.
Motion to continue to July
Is there a
27th.
Second. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay. Thank you very much, sir.
You're welcome, thank you.
We appreciate it.
Thank you.
I can appreciate the water issues. Unfortunately, we're gonna see a lot more of that here.
Did you get the picture I sent you?
I'm sorry.
I'm sorry, I was talking to Tad. Did you get the picture of my driveway? See that I sent you?
Okay. The Voights. Good evening.
What was the picture?
Water.
How are you tonight?
Good, how are you?
Good. I'd like to open a public hearing. Right.
Yes.
I'll move to open the public hearing. Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, welcome.
Hi,
Hi, how are you?
good, how are you today?
Good. How can we help you tonight?
I'm looking for a variance. I have to do some modifications to my home,
Uh-huh.
and it's going to be more than 50% of the home that's going to be renovated. And everything's going to be within the same footprint, with the exception of wanting a 5-foot overhang over the front of the house.
Okay. So I'm seeing pictures of your house. Almost, you're gonna tear it down almost, huh?
Pretty much.
Pretty much.
It wasn't that I wanted to, trust me.
So what you're looking for is on the front of the house to put a small 5-foot porch.
Correct. There's already a cement, like walkway that comes out that far in front of the house now, so it would basically just cover what's already there.
Okay, okay. Questions? Come on, guys.
Can you see the pond across the street from there?
The one up on the corner?
Yeah.
No. I see the water come down when we get a lot of rain.
Okay, okay. I don't have any other questions at this time. I think we would.
I'm like 3 houses diagonal from that, so
Okay.
I don't really see
All
it.
right. So, is there anybody from the public? No? Okay, then we will entertain a motion to continue this until next time, and we'll have
Okay.
hopefully we'll have a resolution at that point.
All right, perfect. Thank you so
Okay.
much.
I
So
need
July
a motion
27th?
to continue the public hearing to 7/27?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay.
So we're all set?
Looks
So,
straightforward.
who, me?
No, it looks straightforward.
Oh, I thought you said look straightforward. I'm like, why? I know you guys are crazy tonight, but what did I do? Thank you, everyone. I'll see you next month.
Thank you. Okay. We have a new application from the Boldrin.
Yep.
We have are you gonna move Dollar
Yeah.
General to the end? Okay.
We'll do that, and then we'll move back. Yes, go ahead.
This is Dollar General.
Huh?
This is Dollar General. Is that who you're opening?
Bowler. Did you say Bowler?
Yeah, I did.
Okay, that's us.
That's you.
No,
But
no.
we have an applicant who is Boldrin.
Boldrin.
So I think we're just, sorry.
I know, we're out of order. It's generally, tonight, we're just
Good, Hank.
generally out of
How
order.
about yourself?
Good, good.
Okay.
I would like to let people know that I know Hank.
Okay.
Okay, so I live on 46 Lawrence Road. My name's Hank Boldrin. What we're looking for is a variance to, so that we can replace an existing deck. We've been there since 1982, and I guess we were out of variant. We were in a variance, so we're trying to put on I think it's 14 by 16. It's a 14 by 16 deck that we're going to try to replace. So we need a 4-foot variance, I guess.
So right now, there is a deck there,
There is a deck there,
and is the size of the new deck gonna change?
1 foot
Out more, okay.
towards, if you were looking at the plat plan there. The plat plan, it's gonna go 1 more foot towards, not Valerie, towards the back lot, the lot directly behind me.
Oh, behind you.
Yeah,
Okay, oh, you're on the cul-de-sac?
I am on the cul-de-sac, yes, sir.
Ah, okay,
So I have 2 front yards and I had to get a variance.
yeah, okay, so the wooden deck we're looking at, where's north? I have no
It's-
idea.
It's, the
if I
deck
look-
is right off the back
Yeah,
and it goes,
right, I can see it here on your drawing.
right, it goes east.
Okay, all right. So the expansion of that would be, you want a foot more,
Right, towards the 946-585 border.
okay. So it's going out this way, okay. All right, so you're blessed with a cul-de-sac site. Okay. How old's the house?
1983, we built it.
83?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so it's new.
Yes.
Hey, that's new.
New construction, exactly.
That's new by my standards. Okay, good. Questions?
So there's currently no deck there. If I read everything, there's just a back door.
No, there's a deck.
Okay, I thought I read something.
Right, so we're having advanced construction come in,
Yeah.
demolition, what's there right now, and have them put new footings and brand new, what is it, Trex deck?
Good.
Chairman?
Questions? Yes?
Isn't it really the side yard?
The code changed between the time that the house was built and now, so the front yard setback is greater. And for single-family homes, once he takes the deck down, he loses the conformancy. So he needs a variance to put the whole thing back up, not just the 1-foot extension.
Thank you.
Anything
Okay.
that's within the
Okay.
setback.
Okay, understand. Okay.
Thanks.
And Chair, just for the record, Mr. Perkins, Board Member Perkins, did indicate that he knows the applicant to alleviate any future potential issues. Will that cloud your judgment? Can you be fair and impartial?
I can be fair and impartial.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Okay. All right, so we have no public, anybody from the public making comments on this?
This is not a public hearing yet. We have to
I'm
set the
sorry.
public hearing for July 27th.
Yeah, we then set a public hearing for July 27th. I need a motion to that effect.
Side,
I need a motion
side,
to move
back.
the
Side,
public
one
here.
side.
One.
Hold on a second.
Hold on a
I
minute.
think we have a question.
I just thought it might be the side yard that it actually is instead of the front yard.
No.
Okay.
Sorry. Motion set a public hearing for 7/27.
Motion.
Second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, but I think it's, you've made it clear, your drawing is clear, we understand the situation.
I appreciate that.
We
Thank
just
you.
go through the public hearing and then,
I do have to ask a question.
Yes.
'Cause I'm going to be on holiday
which holiday?
on the 27th, vacation.
Is that
We're
an
gonna be
Irish
down
holiday?
south. Yes. It is. It's actually a very big Italian holiday down
Okay.
in Wildwood, New Jersey that I just can't miss. So my question is, how does that work? I mean,
Well, you've presented the facts, I think we understand those. The only, then the question in terms of continuing the public hearing is there other information from the public or other parties that want to make a?
I just want to be clear, this was not continuing the public hearing. This was just a new application. We're setting a public hearing for July, so there hasn't been any kind
I'm
of
sorry,
hearing yet.
so, yeah, so this is the first public hearing, so it gives the public an opportunity, if there are any objections, to
Right.
come in and voice those.
Thank you.
There being none, I think you've given us enough information that we can proceed to construct whatever resolution we would
Okay.
do.
Fantastic.
You just run the risk that we're voting in secret from you because you're not here.
I'm an easy guy. I'm very trusting. I thank you all very much for
Okay, thank you,
understanding.
thank you, sir.
Have a nice vacation.
Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Okay, now, Dollar General. This is you. 1906Z. Welcome back.
Thank you. Good evening. For the record, I'm Karen Majanowski with Bowler Engineering,
Okay,
and I'm here with Jeffrey Albany from HSC Hyde Park LLC this evening, who is the owner of 1 East Dorsey Lane, a site I think we're all familiar with, but if not, I can give you a little history. So as you're aware, there was a previously approved variance for scale, relief from the 7,500 square feet for building and parking areas, and we're at 11,874 square feet for the total of our building and parking lot size, which was previously granted. We're here this evening to request the consideration to set a public hearing, as we understand is required to review extending that variance. We've been through a long road, so I'll try to sum it up quickly. We received site plan approval on the project, and there were about a dozen or so conditions associated with that. It was a pretty long list. We worked to address those throughout COVID. We experienced a bit of a delay with some agencies, the county DPW being one for review of our access. We didn't hear from them for about a year, so we lost about a year as far as that goes, and then we did hear from them on that, and that was approval for our East Dorsey location, which is also our construction entrance location. And then another condition to address that was part of the planning board approval, not to be confused with this approval, was approval of securing water. This site does not have municipal water, so we required a well. In order to get the proper separation distances as best possible to septic on our property and other adjacent wells and septics, we had to site the well in a location which fell within the existing building footprint that was there. So then we had to get a demo permit to remove the building to drill the well. So all of that has occurred. A demolition permit was obtained, but we cannot get to the step of a building permit without addressing all of the planning board conditions. So we've been working diligently with Dutchess County Department of Behavioral and Community Health for our water system. After the well was drilled, we encountered some adverse water that's there, MTBE, which is a particle that involves petroleum. So some pretty serious stuff. We are considered a public water supply because there's a drinking fountain. So while I don't think anyone is going to consume a lot of water, they're obviously going to consume water by way of the drinking fountain. You also have hand washing in a bathroom. So a pretty low intense use as far as that goes, but still considered obviously a high safety item because of the drinking fountain that's there. We did consider alternatives to that, but at the end of the day, building code, I believe, requires the drinking fountain. So we have to overcome the hurdle of treating the water that's there in order to serve the public with the drinking fountain. So I'm confident we are near the finish line with the health department, but all of those steps essentially have to happen, which is why we're back here to request the opportunity to have a public hearing next month to consider extending our variance, as we can't really do any work without the health department approval, and these other items in place that all fall before getting a building permit. So we're trying to get to the finish line and keep everything moving, as that's the end goal, is to get the building permit.
So the delay has been in a good part because of the water issues.
That's currently where we're at, yes.
Yeah, and you understand, you anticipate that being resolved relatively soon? I guess
Yes.
the question, if we extend the variance, what is your reading in terms of being able to move ahead, in terms of completing things?
Yeah, my best guess is that we can satisfy the health department with the water system to get their approval of the plan within the next month, and then the chairman of the planning board, correct me if I'm wrong, could sign the plans, because that's the last condition. And then at that point, we can finally submit for a building permit. So I see all of it happening within hopefully 2 months, hopefully less.
Okay.
Chair, I would recommend that we go to executive session, as there are things that I would need to discuss with the board before
Okay.
we can continue this.
Okay.
Sure.
Okay. Give us a moment. We're gonna sneak in here.
So just a reminder, we need a motion and a second to enter.
I need a
and
motion
then
to go into
hold-
executive session for this.
Motion?
Second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay. Wait, excuse us a minute.
Thank you.
I just have one thing to discuss.
Yeah, you want us to leave?
The building inspector that there are violations at this property. And then under the town code, if there are existing violations, that will stall the review by the zoning board unless the application and what you are seeking would essentially remedy those violations. The issue here is that the communication we've received vaguely references chapters 40, which is the building code, and chapter 108, which is zoning, but doesn't specify what sections or what the violations are at the property. That being said, it would be, I believe, the zoning board's recommendation that you contact the building inspector to see what the violations are, and work in the next month to remedy what they are. I will defer to the chair and the board members as to whether they want to proceed and set the public hearing subject to you abating whatever these violations may be.
Yeah, I would move that we do set the public hearing for next month, subject to your addressing these issues. Now, I don't know if you have received any.
This evening, we just received it. Yep, we have it.
Okay, all right, so you have it. So
I would agree clarification is needed, and
Right.
the team will reach out.
Okay. So I have a motion to set the public hearing for 7/27.
Motion.
Second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay. So we're set for the public hearing.
Thank you.
Any other questions? Did I miss something?
Well, I'm sorry, I thought I heard you say pending resolution of the violations.
That is true.
I thought I heard you
Yeah,
say
right.
that. It wasn't in the.
Yeah, that's in the motion.
Is it? Okay. So in order for us to advertise, that has to be completed within 2 weeks.
So
Well-
instead of setting it for July, should,
No, no.
Let's leave it for July and see what happens.
And if it's not, if we don't have anything from the building department that says that it's resolved by the time it has to be advertised, then we don't do it?
so just,
Not to jump in, but I think the onus is also on the building inspector to provide a notice that accurately outlines what the violations are. At this point, they're walking in blind. I mean, they can't go off of what we've received and properly abate it. It references 2 whole chapters of the town code. So I think that communication has to occur, and specificity needs to be provided so that they can proceed. Maybe at the 2-week mark, we can speak to the applicant and the building inspector to kind of gauge where you are.
Where we are on that.
So I would just like to be clear that the 2-week deadline that I have would be July 13th for the July 27th meeting.
And we would need clarification.
Yes.
I've read the violation letter yet.
It's not clear.
Well, I understand, but we need clarification well before July 13th if I'm going to make that date. Fact of the matter is, we've been held up by the board, by the county board of health forever on this project. We've made some mistakes. I'm not disagreeing.
Yeah.
But,
Well, that's why.
but we need to know what to rectify.
Yeah.
Understood.
Understood
And
that.
I do think that you could still notice it, even at the 2-week mark. That doesn't,
Yeah, I would go ahead and notice it.
Okay.
Doesn't oblige you to hear it.
No.
yeah, and I think that that's it.
Or
So
to
I
act.
think the board could move to not open the public hearing and deal with it at that meeting. So we're still not locked into proceeding, and then that gives everybody more time to get a lay of the
Okay.
land.
Okay.
And you have been in communication with Don Westmeyer, so you know what the issues are?
I would tell you that I did not know we were getting a violation letter until I walked in here tonight and it was presented. I have to follow up on that end of it. I haven't really been tracking the construction end of it as much. I've listened in. I know there's been ongoing issues. I know we demoed the building. We had a permit. We had to demo
Yes.
the building.
Yes.
So I see that in the letter. Demolition was not a violation. We had
Right.
a permit. So already I'm looking at a letter. It's really not explaining to me. I know there's material
Thank you.
on the
That's
thing,
what I'm
so
looking for.
there's stuff that we need to remedy.
Okay.
I'm just asking to notice it. If we haven't remedied it by the 27th, obviously the board has no reason to hear it that night or to push it
Right.
forward, and I would understand that.
Right.
Okay.
But I think.
Great.
Go ahead.
Very reasonable.
No, I think, yeah, I think we set the public hearing subject to that being resolved on the 27th, and we'll deal with it as it comes.
We appreciate it. Thank you.
Yes.
I have one question
Yes.
about the water problem.
Yes.
What do you have to do to mitigate the water issue?
So we have to do a point of entry treatment system. That's an engineered system. It involves a lot of different steps that go into it. There's particulate filters. And we're happy to share this plan with anyone at the town who wants it. We can bring it with us to the public hearing. We can submit it on record too. But there's particulate filters. There's disinfection, which would be handled by chlorine, as long as the health department approves that. And then there'd be a reverse osmosis component as well. There's a lot of other components. Those are the main ones that address the
So-
issues.
What's the percentage of water to the output? In other words, is it 4-to-1, 5-to-1?
So I can get that number. I'm not sure offhand. It's very low because the water usage is very low.
Your
So
water usage on this site is primarily for bathroom and maybe some, I don't know if you have sink or
there's
anything.
there's locked bathrooms, a drinking fountain, and a mop sink.
Yeah. So
It's small.
I'm assuming that the whole area is on well.
Well,
on the same well?
I'm not on the same well, but everyone in that area
Yeah.
has dug a well, and this is a simple filter system. If you saw the comments that came back from the county board of health, it's just incredible that the comments keep coming. This has been an ongoing issue for us to get this approval, and the town has been very helpful with letting us do some things. Obviously, we've overstepped on a few things that
Okay.
we need to take care of.
Okay, all right, good. Let's see how we can get this thing moved.
We're excited
Okay.
to get it done.
Good, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Do we have any other, any other business before the board? I will entertain a motion to continue the meeting, no, to
Adjourn.
to adjourn.
Motion.
Second?
To beat a dead horse.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. Thank you, everybody, very much.